Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Today I'm going to make a video that I've really been putting a lot of thought into and thinking about making, and the reason is because when I first got into this, I was just mindlessly doing things. You know, like I talked about in a previous video, I had so much work coming in. Um, the grind really got in the way of the understanding and comprehension of exactly what I was doing and why I was doing it. In the case of the winterization, I had a general idea of what I was doing, and I knew why, but I didn't really think much beyond that. So, over the years, I've done a lot of research and I figured it out, because in my mind, I thought of different ways that you could do it and it'd be better, but those ways are wrong, and they're wrong because there's multiple different stages of why we're doing what we're doing during the winterization process. The number one thing which I've got right here is a P-trap. Now this obviously is not sufficient or up to code, but this is all I had and I didn't have the proper fitting, and I didn't want to go buy one just for this video, so I taped it up anyways. Don't tape it up. If you do this, do it properly. This is just for demonstration purposes only. So here you have a standard P-trap. Now, the purpose of a P-trap, two main purposes. The main purpose is any gases created in your septic or sewage come back to the P-trap here, and then we've got water. So the gases can't come back up through the drain. That's the main purpose. One of the other benefits to it is if you're washing your hands in the sink, or your wife or whoever, and a ring comes off and it falls in, it gets caught in the P-trap, you take the P-trap off and get it back. But onto the gases. It's every drain in the house is required to have a P-trap. I did not realize, I knew that septic and sewage systems created methane, and I thought that was the main gas, but there's actually four main gases: hydrogen sulfide, methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide. So you have all of that right here. So this comes out, and let's just hypothetically, we're going to say this is for the sink. It comes out, goes into the wall, and then here there's a pipe that shoots straight up. So there's a T. The T goes down. That's where all the water and everything that goes down the drain goes and into the sewage and the septic. And then there's a pipe that goes straight up through the roof up there where you have a vent boot, and that's to release all the exhaust gases to keep them from coming back to the P-trap. So you have that as your primary means of gas escape, and then you have your P-trap as your gas block. The main thing that we're doing on these properties for these companies is, one of the main things is we are limiting liability. So we don't want whether it be Wells Fargo, Chase, whoever the case may be, we don't want them getting sued by any individual. So let's just say a homeless person were to, let's say there were no P-traps. This was just exposed, and someone had gutted all the vanity sinks, everything throughout the home, and just left these caps exposed. And a homeless person breaks into the house, goes in there, and they sleep in there, and all these septic gases come through, and it ends up affecting them in any way possible. Well, they would actually have a opportunity or a situation where they could potentially sue the mortgage company. And I know that seems bizarre because they broke into the house, but that really just is the way that it is. So these P-traps are very, very, very important. Our goal is, because there is water in these P-traps, and we can't remove the water when we winterize the properties because we don't want the gases to come back in the house. Our objective is to put antifreeze in these P-traps so that they don't freeze. If you know anything about plumbing, you know that water, when it's in pipes and it freezes, it expands and it busts the pipes. So when we go in, we're doing these winterizations, what we're there to do is to ensure there's no existing water left in the water lines from the meter to the house, and the existing water that's in this P-trap that is required, we're putting antifreeze in it so that it doesn't freeze. The reason that we use RV antifreeze is because when it goes back in and it goes through the sewage system, it's you can't just do it with regular car antifreeze because of the EPA, whatever. I don't know all of that, but I do know it's EPA related, so absolutely do not use regular car antifreeze. Use RV antifreeze always. And then to touch on that, if you wait, Walmart is the best. And not every Walmart does it. You almost just have to stumble into it. But when you do, take full advantage of it. Walmart's at the end of the season, so like in March, late February, March, when spring's coming, I've seen them have pallets and pallets of this RV antifreeze for $1 a gallon. Now that was the last time that we took advantage of that would have been spring of 2021, and we bought hundreds. Right now, these things are where I'm at. They're $6 a gallon for a gallon of this RV antifreeze. I'm going to do another. So what I'm going to do with this actually is I'm going to fill it up with water, and I'm going to dump it out into a measuring cup, and I'm going to figure out exactly how much antifreeze needs to go in the average P-trap so that I can be more efficient and I'm not wasting no antifreeze, because it has gotten expensive, and during this time of the year it's it's an expense, and any expense that you can make less, you're doing better for yourself. So I don't want to ramble on for too long. I really just wanted to touch base so everyone knew what we were doing and why it's very, very important. And once you winterize this property, you have basically said, I take full responsibility for the plumbing in this house, especially if the pressure test passed. So the pressure test passed, you submit it, you've winterized it, passing pressure test. If a P-trap cracks and breaks beyond that point, if a water line busts beyond that point, it's on you, because you have said to them, hey, there's no leaks at this time, and in addition to that, I just got all the water out of the lines, and I also put antifreeze in all the P-traps so that they're not going to freeze. So anything beyond that point, the liability is really on you. And I, in the pressure test video and in the winterization video, I think I, briefly mentioned some of that, but you do not want to halfway do anything. You want to go in there and you want to do it right regardless. Sometimes it is so aggravating. Some winterizations are just boom, 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 in and out, no problem. Some of them are just an absolute pain in the butt. But even on those, I constantly remind myself, like, Josh, just take the extra time, do it right. And what's aggravating is you always have 100 other things you need to be doing. So, don't ever leave out of there knowing that you did not do exactly what you were supposed to do, because the consequences could get in your pocket, and you don't want that to happen. So, and then also, draining the hot water tank, which, it's obvious. It's gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of water sitting in a tank. So, you need to make sure that you get that thing completely empty and depleted. And then, if there's a well, it's the same thing. You've got to make sure the well's off, make sure the pipe coming into the well tank is off, and then, drain the well tank. So you just don't want any water anywhere on the property, and the only water that should remain is the water in the P-traps, which you're putting antifreeze in so that it doesn't freeze. That's the gist of it. Now, I will make note, I live in the deep, deep South. I am not very far from the Gulf of Mexico, so my experiences with winterizations, 100% of them have been dry winterizations. So I am not the guy to ask questions to, about any of the other types of winterizations, because I've never done any of them. So you'd have to find somebody from up north to touch base with on that. I'm certainly not the guy, because like I say, it very seldomly even gets below 30 degrees down here. So, we do these, but it's probably once every 5 or 6 years that the winterizations that we do actually get put to the test. So that's the purpose. That's the reason that we can't just come in here and stick a hose down these P-traps, suck all the water out, and move on. And I hope that this video helps you understand it, if you didn't already understand it. I know a lot of people, I've never claimed to be the smartest guy in the world, so maybe some of you guys have done a lot of research prior to doing any of it. I know for me, when I was first getting into it, I just taught myself how to do it, the right way to do it, and I went and done a zillion of them. The why, I figured that out later. So, hopefully this video helps you guys, understand the why. If you got any questions or any video recommendations, please let me know. I hope y'all have a good day.